Hey, Alicia, right?
Yeah,
Would you mind if I pulled you for a chat?
sure.
Can I sit right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up?
So, hey, how's it going?
All right.
I know it's been tough being here on Love Island, but...
I got a text! Islanders, get ready to review this season of Love Island with the perfect cast. That's us.
Right now?
I guess so. Let's do it.
What are you doing?
The intro.
The intro to what?
Love Island.
Oh,
I didn't do that
right.
intro anymore. Actually, it's kind of rude. Oh, I used to love the Love Island intro. The classic. They probably still do it on Love Island UK because I have not started Love Island UK. I've heard it's very good this season. I need to get into it, but those who know. I like the Love Island. They're like the classic intro where you see them with the bikinis and they're like slapping it on their butts and stuff.
Alright, let's do an intro.
That was the intro. Yay! Love Island! We just wrapped up. Finale! Yay!
So, before we get into the review of the Love Island Season 7 finale and the season as a whole, a little bit of information for you watching this. She is a Love Island aficionado. She's watched a couple seasons of it, including last season, which I think is when she explained to me how the show really blew up in popularity. This is my first season ever watching it as a whole. Like I watched it in passing when she watched it last season, and I remember her reacting to certain things, and it was emotional from what I understand. And then I didn't really watch it, but then I was like, you know what? Let me watch it with her this season, and I'm glad I did. But we'll get into all that right now. All the drama, the issues off the set, on the set. Definitely an interesting show to watch for sure. A lot of things, like I said, happened that weren't like I said, on the show. There were things off the set, so we'll get into those too.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This season we'll get into it, but yeah, I mean, in comparison, you know, there's been better, there's been worse. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm sure for someone who, if this is like your first time watching, maybe go back and watch some other seasons. I mean, that's a lot of time, but go watch other seasons and, you know, compare and see what like a classic season should be. Because there were some classic things that were missing from this season that, you know, I think people who normally watch it were like, oh, what happened to this? But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Love Island is Love Island. So yeah.
So this, for those of you who, like, don't know the format of Love Island, it's on every day except Hump Day, and then there's a review show on Saturday, but that didn't really count that. So it's basically on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's a commitment.
Yes. Like, no one cares about the Saturday episode. I mean, I'm sure somebody does. Every once in a while I'll go through and watch it. Like, if, because the Saturday episode, does it Sunday before? I don't know. The Saturday episode, edit that out.
No.
The Saturday episode after Sun was mainly with interviews with people who had went home like the previous week and things like that. So it was unnecessary. When that show already takes up so much of your time. But yeah, so it's a commitment, but worth it because it's good TV.
Now, as an outsider, I'll explain what I thought about it real quick, then I'll talk to her about someone that's watched the show before. I like the format, I like the idea of it. It's interesting that it's on every day. I'm used to watching shows that are once a week. This was on, like I said, you know, 5 days a week. So keeping up with it was kind of, not a challenge, but it's like, oh yeah, that's on, so you have to make sure you tune in to the episode. They would roughly be an hour plus a piece, except for the first episode, which was a little bit, I think about an hour and a half. The finale was 2 hours. Like I said, I like the connections they had on there. The beginning was kind of slow. I was like, is this my and then it started to pick up dramatic stuff like that, recouplings, you know, people coming in they call it a villa, and you recouple with somebody else. So it's a lot of moving parts you have to kind of pay attention to, and it gets, you know, it's like these people's lives, even though it's a reality show, but these people's lives are trying to make connection with people. So it's a lot of twists and turns, ins and outs with it. So it's something I was captivated by, but the ending, a little anticlimactic, but we'll get into that too. But overall, I did enjoy the show as a whole.
Good. Yay. Okay. I'm very, very interested to hear the perspective from someone who hasn't watched it. I think that always, with, any show, not just reality TV, that affects, I guess how people look at it, your perspective, fresh eyes. Like, the way I look at it, because I'm comparing it to not just last season, because I see a lot of people comparing it to last season. I don't think that's fair, because I think last season was such they couldn't have predicted the explosion that would have come from last season. It was lightning in a bottle. The cast was just awesome. You really luck up. I think they just had a formula at that time that just really lucked up, and I didn't want to go into this season expecting the same, but I knew that they were going to try to capitalize on the fact that they got a lot of new viewers because of how last season blew up. People's expectations were probably high, so I just went in with like mine a little bit lower, just going off of how they were historically. Like, I watched the show back when it was in like the CBS days. Like, we were struggling for a little bit, but yeah. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts of how you think things went overall. I guess I can go into a little bit of what we didn't get to see, what would have been cool to see, how it kind of would have made things a little different. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
So I guess we'll start at the end more so, just because the show's concept is to find a connection with somebody in this villa. Thank you. In this villa, isn't she cute? In this villa, like an island, they're on Fiji, which everybody else goes to. And the connection is supposed to be somewhat genuine, and these people make a connection. That does happen. But as we got further along, and the thing is, it's America has a say in this. There's an app that you can download, and America votes on certain things, and usually those affect the show as far as who goes home. Especially last night, they decided who won the entire season. And as it got towards the end, America had like their favorites. Like, certain people did certain things that were benefiting them, but America didn't like it, so they turned on them. And then a couple that had a strong connection was pretty much the only couple that was actual couple was left. They didn't like them for some odd reason, and America turned on them too, and they sent them home. So the couples we had last night in the finale, really all of them weren't entirely couples per se. They were kind of just put together at the end. So America had maybe too much influence, I think, in certain things. Like, I get it. It's a show that people are voting on. I understand that. But it's like America had too much power, I think, because like these people they voted off had a great connection. That's the point of the show, is they have a connection. And they voted them off because like, oh, I didn't like that you went with this person, or I didn't like how this happened. Not exactly my favorite thing about the show, because like I thought like you want to see people get together, and you're just like, no, I don't like them because they did this or this or this. So that's kind of my own, little bit of gripe with it, because I wasn't happy about a certain couple that went home. But they're fine now, so that's okay. But that's just my little gripe, is I wish America would be like, oh, we don't like these people because of a certain reason, and then this kind of affects the show as a whole, and then the finale is what it was, and the finale was absolutely anticlimactic. So that's kind of the problem I have with it a little bit.
I think that I don't want to say that America has too much power. I don't like, if we're going to be able to vote, I want a full picture. I hate with these shows, it's very clear that production has a lot of hand in them. I think that's very clear with most reality shows. Production is going to let you see what they want you to see. And so then afterwards, you're finding out all this information that it's like, well, this was not reflected in the package that I got. And so if you're going to have me vote on something, I want the full picture, not just what production thinks is entertaining, because half time what they think is like, well, let's just show this. We're like, why are you showing me this? Like, this is what you think I want to see, or this is what you think is entertaining and it's really not. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know where production's head is at with certain angles. Why do you think we want to see a like a Huda growth story? Like I think that's what they were kind of trying to like give us a little bit of like a look at this girl who like came on here and she was crashing out and emotionally immature and going through all this stuff, and now look how she's grown where she's not even yelling. But it's like clearly there's still something there like that most of us can see above a certain age, because I believe that her fan base, which she actually has a nice little sized fan base, I'm convinced is full of like teenagers and people under the age of like 25 because their brains aren't fully formed yet. But so I'm just like, I don't know what story you were trying to feed me of this like redemption arc from her. The Nicolandria thing. I don't want the stands to come for me, but like let's come on now. I understand that you guys read a lot of
Stands are at the door.
help. You guys read a little too. Listen, I'm a romance novel girly myself. I'm a romance novel girly pop. I can show you my bookcase, but it's a book. It doesn't work. That doesn't translate for real world. I know you all like you'll read your books online. You'll read your Kindle books, and you'll read your books about how the girl didn't have a guy and she met the guy and they became friends to lovers. I have so many books of friends to lovers trope. We love it. We know her. That's not what that was. Let's cut it. Stop. That's cute. That's nice if you wanted that to like be a vision. Maybe somebody's saying something I'm missing, because I was missing it. It was right over my head. But again, it was like I think production saw. I don't know if production saw that it was popular with people, and so they were like, we're making this a thing because the public likes it. I don't know, but I'm just not seeing this at all. And so it was just interesting the things that production decided to like force feed us, and I'm like, you're irritating me because you want me to vote and you want to put this show in my hands, but you're picking what I'm going to see. But again, I shouldn't even be surprised about this because they do this with all the reality shows. So,
you know it's the most interesting thing about Huda is that I don't know if you all know this, but I don't know if you know this as well. Huda is a mom.
Oh my God, Mamacita?
She's a mom.
I'm a mommy?
Mamacita? That was everywhere. I was everywhere on TikTok, everywhere. That once that thing happened, that blew up everywhere. I'm surprised there's not
everywhere,
shirts and everything and mugs and whatever.
All these companies. This show blew up too large. I blame the things I blame for the how this season and the ways that it did disappoint me. I blame these random fans that came out of nowhere after last season. They came out of literally no. Again, where were you in the CBS days when we were struggling? You weren't shooting us in the CBS gym. These fans came out of nowhere and they kind of ruined the show. Production was doing not their big one. They were doing a random one. They were on some other stuff. And stop hiring all these influencers. I'm so tired. I understand that maybe like the casting folks are like, let's get people who have a built-in fan base because then we get more people to watch, or more investment because you get invested in people that you know. I know a lot of people who watched it because they know Ace, because Ace is very popular on TikTok and stuff. And so people like to watch. They were like, I'm invested in this because I know this guy. People form parasocial relationships with people. And so they're like, I feel like I know him. I feel like, I trust this guy. Like, we're tight. And so I'm going to watch this show to support him. And so I don't know if that's what they're kind of feeding off of. The fact that people do form these parasocial relationships with people. But in the end, like, where are just like the regular people again? Because this is just, it's out of hand. It's out of hand.
Yeah. That's much more I can say to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think instead of like going through the entire season, which would take hours, We'll break it down just like the finale, and we'll kind of we'll go from there. So the final 4 couples we had on the finale were Amaya and Brian, Huda and Chris, Pepe and Iris, and Nick and Alandria. So I'll start with the last couple. I met Nick and Alandria. That's probably the most story that there was, just because of backstory on Nick. Nick was coupled up with somebody in the villa named Bella, and then Sierra entered the villa as a bombshell, and then once she came out on the show, Nick was pretty much focused on her pretty much the entire time. I mean, he bounced around a little bit. Sierra did go into Casa Amor, which is the other island where other people come into the show and kind of try to shake it up. But Sierra was over there. Nick didn't really find anybody. She didn't really find anybody either. She was with someone named Elon, but I don't think that was the strongest connection, the stronger connection that she had with Nick. And eventually she came back, and Nick and her closed things off. Basically, they were exclusive. They weren't going to pursue any other connections. And then, unfortunately, a absolutely just tragic, unfortunate post that Sierra made that she's apologized for, but it's a little too late now. Production had to be swift on it. They had to eliminate her. They removed her from the show, and that's where this Nick Alandria thing comes from. Maybe rewind a little bit. Nick and Alandria were voted out of the game. They were eliminated because they didn't have any connections, so they were eliminated. And then Nick is leaving the villa, and you see a car pull up, and Alandria's like, "Come on, Nick, get in."
Bad acting.
Come on,
Nick. Come on, Nick.
So Nick and her go off, and they have a date, and they have a card from the show. It says you can either, and why would they choose the other option? I have no idea. They can either leave the villa and that's it, or they can return to the villa as a couple. So they did, and that's kind of where it started. Like I said, she did go back with Sierra eventually, but then Sierra was kicked off. And then that's where we are now. The Nick Alandria, as people were calling them, was one of the final 4 couples. I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't really understand it. She brought it to my attention that Nick's mother was like a proponent of this whole Nick Alandria thing. I don't understand it. I didn't really see, they were friends and they had a nice friendship connection, but I didn't see a romantic connection. Even then, when they were coupled up for a little bit before Sierra returned from Casa Amor, I didn't really see a strong romantic connection there, so I feel like it was forced to get to the finale. Luckily, we'll get to that, but luckily it didn't affect the end of the show, in my opinion, to make it oh no kind of thing. But yeah, I just don't like how it was forced on people when they were saying things that I honestly didn't feel like they're 100% true.
No. And people say that, the Nick Alandria stands were saying that the chemistry has been there since episode 1 because they had that whole challenge in the beginning where people were blindfolded and if you could pick someone to secretly kiss. And I had totally forgot that they were, ever involved with each other or kissing in the beginning. I don't think anything of it because everyone kisses everybody in the beginning. That's part of the show. It's kissing. You're just kissing random people. The youth. They like to kiss. That's what they're doing. And so... I like to kiss too. Not 15 people at one time? Let me find out. Anyway. So, I really was not thinking too much of that. But people, they swore they could see the chemistry. I guess. I got glasses on, so I can't see nothing. So maybe it may be. And hey, listen here. I'm not against it. I don't even think I would have been... There's only one couple that if they had won, I probably would have been super irritated and mad. And it wasn't them. So, if they had, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Friendship couples can win too. And hey, maybe they might make it outside the villa. Maybe, we're not seeing I'm not seeing chemistry now, but as time goes on, by the time we get to the reunion, that's in a month away. They'll sit there and we really focused on us, and we realized that we really like each other, and we love each other, and yada yada yada. Friends fall in love all the time, so hey, who am I? Who said that?
All right. So the next couple we'll talk about, she kind of mentioned it too, was Huda and Chris. Now, Huda
should have went home.
That was very good. Huda is an interesting, I guess, character, if that works. She came into the villa from the beginning and was paired up with a gentleman by the name of Jeremiah, and they were pretty much with each other the entire time until I don't know what. I still don't remember why Huda crashed out the way she did. It was a whole thing. The way maybe Jeremiah wasn't doing enough, or
Yeah, I think that's where it started. When she was saying he wasn't doing enough.
something with
And then
pancakes.
the pancakes, because I think Taylor had to help her make some pancakes, and she didn't like the way Jeremiah did the pancakes.
Pulling out a chair for somebody, which
Yeah,
she lost it by
Yeah,
that.
he pulled the chair out for Iris. Like, help! The girl just needed some help.
Yeah, so that was a very toxic part of the show. It was very entertaining, but it was very toxic the way. I'll put that in there. It was very, if I can find a good picture. It's very toxic in the beginning how she was speaking to him and how things were just like, oh my god, everyone's getting a headache. I think at least one of the people on the show, if not a couple, referred to as Hurricane Hood every time she would just like go off on Jeremiah, and like she was like yelling, expletives across the villa, not like saying to his face. She was like, he was way over there and she was over there, and she was yelling across, and everyone was like, you gotta chill. And it was a really like. Someone needs to step in and let her know, like, hey, you need to tone it down just a tad. And it seemed like that was said because as the season progressed, she got a little less, crashy out. If that's not a word.
Crashy out.
Yeah, sure. As the season progressed, and she eventually Jeremiah went home. She had a couple up with a couple people in Casa Amor, but nothing really stuck. She was with JD, but that lasted for like a cup of coffee. And she didn't really find a really connection with anybody after Jeremiah left until Chris showed up, and then Chris was back and forth between Shelly and Huda, and then eventually Huda and Chris became a couple, and that went as bad as you could possibly expect because it just didn't seem like a good fit. I'm sure Huda is a very nice person, but she probably has a certain type that she likes to go after. And I don't think her type was on this show at all, Jeremiah or Chris. So hopefully for her, someone else is out there for her because she seems, like I said, she seems like she deserves love. Everyone deserves love. It's just a matter of the right person that fits you.
And you need to be healed, which she don't. I think at this time in her life, maybe the only person that she needs to be looking for is on findatherapist.com. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. Either way, her healthcare provider needs to, I'm sure she can click on the link, but she got to find one before she goes any further with relationships.
Yeah. And my biggest, so I'm not going to get too much into them because we're talking about the 4 finalists. My biggest gripe was my couple that I like was Shelly and Ace, as I referred to as Shalace. As the couple I liked because they seemed like they had the most solid connection in there. Though they went back and forth with different people, it seemed like they were the most like strong connection they had. And they ended up going home before the finale, and then Huda and Chris got in, which you could tell their connection wasn't very strong. It just seemed like it was typical like, oh, we're still here, but we're not really digging each other. And then it seemed like right for them to be in the finale. These 4 people that could win Love Island, the show that's supposed to develop a connection, a romantic connection. And I just didn't like enjoy that they were the finale. And we'll get to the finale. We'll break down in a moment. But I just didn't like the fact they were there because they didn't seem like they were even digging each other, not just romantically, but as friends either. They just didn't want to be around each other at some point.
Yeah, and I'm not a Shalace shipper. That's not my boat. Mainly because Ace loves Shelly. She's so cute. She's like a little doll. Ace. It is what it is. I don't like him. But I mean, I don't know. There's times where I do agree that I think they probably should have been in the finale. It would have made more sense for them to be in the finale because the finale is supposed to be for strong couples. At the same time, which I think other people have said too, is this is kind of like their karma because I don't know how many times we voted Huda in the bottom and they just kept keeping her. Earlier on in the game, like Love Island is something that, like, your early decisions can come back to, like, bite you in the butt. And this is what happened. You had so many opportunities to send that girl home, and they just kept keeping her because they were trying to play strategically, regardless of what they say and all these exit interviews and being like, oh, you guys don't know the full story. Yes, what they all say. You guys were trying to play strategically. You were trying to get certain people out so that they wouldn't make it to the end. You were trying to keep your friends at other times. You knew what you were doing when you voted, and now you're at home. So I don't feel that bad. And there were also just several things that Ace did throughout the season that I didn't like, and so. But yeah. It is what it is. And there were some things that, like, while I think the Hooded, again, needs some therapy and someone to talk to on a couch, there were times I did feel bad for her. And there were times I thought that she got the short end of the stick and that I actually was on her side for certain things. But you just can't. I always have to remember that these are children. Like, the only one who's getting, like, a little closer are, like, those that are, like, the 27, 28-year-olds. Like, I think Alandria is, like, 27 or 20 or something like that. But, like, these 22-year-olds and stuff, I'm like, oh, I have to remember. Like, you're barely out of high school. I think I've seen some people say, like, these are, like, the first group of kids, like, that are, like, they went to high school during the pandemic. Like, they don't even know how to have social interactions, barely. So, I try to give them some grace that I'm like, along with your brain not being fully developed, you also just don't have the same social skills as other ages and generations. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Third couple that I want to talk about is Pepe and Iris. Now, wake up. The third couple I want to talk about is Pepe and Iris. Wake up. The third couple I want to talk about is Pepe and Iris. So Pepe and Iris were both bombshells, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm, at the same time.
Iris was the woman that Jeremiah chose over Huda at one of the challenges, and that was what she was referring to. That was Huda was single and vulnerable, and they could have voted her out. Instead, they decided to save her, and that's where we are now, because the honors wanted to keep her around. I don't really remember what Iris's connections. It was Jeremiah, and then I believe it was TJ.
Yeah.
And then that was it until Pepe, correct?
Yeah, I want to say. I don't think that she really talks to anybody in Casa like that.
But Iris is very interesting to me just because, like, I didn't really see a solid connection with her and Jeremiah. I didn't really get that at all. And then TJ got in there and she's developed a connection with him. Why? I have no idea why, because I didn't care for him at all. But, you have your own taste, and that's you. And then the weirdest thing about Iris to me, and the most memorable thing about her for me in this season was, so TJ goes home, and she's visibly upset. She's very emotional because she had a solid connection. She did have a solid connection with TJ, whether how I feel about him or not. She did have a solid connection with TJ. And she was very emotional. He was gone. And she's mentioned to me before that you have the option to leave the island. You can go and leave and go with them. No one did that this year at all. They had chances to, they just didn't do it. So, I guess...
I'm wondering if production has told them, like, they gotta chill on that.
Really?
I'm wondering. Because we've seen people previously leave with their person, but this season didn't happen at all for all these alleged, really, like, tight connections. So I'm starting to wonder if production is telling these kids either if you do it, you're not getting paid, or, like, you're not allowed to, or, like, it's in their contract now, like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
That'd be something. Or, I mean, it's about the exposure and the followers. Yeah. So maybe your person is like, yeah. So maybe your person's like, just go ahead and stay. Make sure you get the max amount of Instagram followers.
Yeah. So when TJ left, she was visibly upset, and she was just like she wanted him still to stay there. That's understandable. And then I feel like within the matter of like a day or two, she was already with Pepe. So it's like, did you really have that much of a connection with TJ, or I don't know. With Pepe, I like Pepe. I liked him. He came in as a bombshell, like I mentioned. He came in pretty quickly and coupled up with Hannah, I believe, his first connection.
Mm-hmm.
And then she left. And then Pepe went with Grayson, right?
Yes.
So no slight against Grayson. I'm sure she's a nice person, but she was basically, if you're familiar with like the websites Amazon and Wish.com, Grayson was like Wish.com Hannah. Like,
oh my God.
I'm sorry, like I never really saw a solid connection with Pepe and Grayson, to be honest with you, and I feel like he was still kind of having feelings for Hannah even though she was gone. And that's not fair to Grayson. Like I said, she's probably a nice person, but she was never really there to have a strong connection with Pepe. It just didn't happen. And then Pepe, like I said, Pepe and Iris kind of went like, you know, with each other after TJ left, and after Grayson's like, well, why am I here? I don't really want to be here. I don't need to be here anymore. So that was kind of where we at with Pepe and Iris. Their connection was okay. I think out of the 4 last night, I think their connection might have been the strongest because I think they were together the longest, I'm pretty sure.
Out of those 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Around the same time, maybe it's the last couple.
Yeah.
But like again, I like Pepe, but his connection with Hannah was the strongest he had. Once she was gone, no one really connected with me. I believed as much as him and Hannah. I didn't believe it as much as the one he had with Hannah. So him and Iris, nice connection, but I just didn't really buy it.
I did see the chemistry. I would have been interested to see if they had more time, how far they would have gotten. Because I think if they had more time, I probably could have seen them have more chemistry than him and Hannah. I definitely think that there was more chemistry with Iris and Pepe than Iris and TJ. I like immediately. I was like, oh yeah, that's way more. And I think if they were gonna push the whole like friends to lovers thing, that's probably the couple that I would have done it with, because I believed that more of like they came in together. Because you don't think of like, oh, 2 bombshells, we're gonna get together and you know, you think of going to like the original Islanders. And so, but they were friends the entire time. Like, we have scenes of them talking and things like that. So I think if they want to push that whole like, again, the friends to lovers thing, that's probably the couple that I would believe that more with than Nicolandria. And, you know, and some people will try to argue that Nicolandria was forming in the early days. So some people probably will say that Nicolandria was the oldest of those couples because they were like, well, they were there since the beginning of time.
No.
Yeah. So I didn't hate Pepe and Iris. Like I said, it would have been interesting to see if there was more time. Because I think that Hannah, I think she probably had more chemistry with Charlie. But, you know, when that all happened, then she got with Pepe and, yeah.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. I wouldn't have voted for them to win.
No, I didn't vote for them either. But the couple that I voted for, and I'm pretty sure you voted for as well, was the final couple in the Final Four last night, was Amaya and Brian. Now, I'll dive into Amaya in a second because Amaya's going to take a little longer to go through, and feel free to jump in at your leisure.
Thank you.
Welcome. Brian was in Casa Amor, and his only connection, I believe, I use the term connection loosely because it didn't really feel like a connection at all, was Adrina.
Yeah.
And I feel like Adrina looked at Brian for like this long, and then shifted her focus to Pepe, even though they never became a couple. So Brian never really had a connection on the show at all. And then there was a challenge with Amaya, and you know, it was back to what you said about Ace. Ace said some questionable things about Maya, how her personality didn't gel. He didn't like to be called Babe. And then Brian just stepped in and jumped up and said, hey, you know, in the Latin community, Babe, or something like that, in communities, people just call it Babe. It's just a thing you say. It has no romantic connotation about it. There's no meaning behind it. It's just something people say.
So irritated me. Irritated me. Again, no social skills. Because, like, people calling someone Babe is not a romantic thing whatsoever. And again, I don't know if this is just not like any POC community we do that, but like people call people babe, you call someone love, you call people hun. That's just what you do. It does not mean that you want anything romantic. It does not mean anything like that serious. I mean, they were a couple at the time when she was doing that, but still, it was not that deep. It doesn't mean like a literally let's get married tomorrow because she's calling you babe. But whatever.
Yeah. So Brian was really the only one that kind of stepped up and said that about Maya, because she was very upset about. She felt like she was getting attacked. So Brian was the only one that kind of stepped up.
Boo. Where was everybody else? Where were her girls? I'm like, was it edited out? I haven't heard any of them say, oh yeah, we all stood up, but they just cut that out. So I'm like, so y'all really just let her out, just let her sitting there to dry with Ace and Austin, just come at her, and Zach. I don't even want to talk about him, honestly.
I couldn't really understand him at all anyway. He needed subtitles.
Oh my god.
Which they did once and they stopped doing, which I wish they wouldn't have done that. It would have been helpful.
You gonna get canceled?
Whatever. Wouldn't be the first time. So, like I said, Brian was the only one that stepped up and kind of defended Amaya, even though she was with a couple with Zach, but Zach wasn't really into her anyway, I don't think. So that was kind of Brian's only real connection was Amaya. And then focusing to Amaya, Amaya is an interesting character because was she in the beginning or she was a bombshell?
Yeah, she came as a bombshell.
She came as a bombshell.
Kind of a fun fact.
Yes.
I found this out because I didn't even think about it. This is the first couple that a bombshell and a Casa boy have won. Usually it's an OG who wins. Now OG might win with a Casa person or a bombshell, but this is the first time two people who are not original Islanders have won. And I thought that was very, very cool. The OGs didn't deserve to win, honestly, so.
So with Amaya, was her first connection with Ace or was Austin?
No, Ace was first.
Ace was first, and like she mentioned, she kept calling Ace babe, and he didn't really like that, so it just seemed like they weren't a good fit. Then I think after Ace was Austin.
Yeah.
Austin to me was interesting because I don't know his connections. He just seemed like, again, you can tell me if I'm wrong. His connections, he just seemed very bored with all the people he was with.
Well, he's a boring person, so.
You know, I don't think that's very nice. I think he had a. Okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's annoying. But
sounds like a high big bird.
Anyway, hi Big Bird. Hi Big Bird. And then after Austin, I don't think she really had a solid connection with anybody till Casa, and then people came back from Casa.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
Yeah. Because usually what she mentioned to me, Casa usually goes a little longer what they did. Casa was very quick this time, from what she told me. And then she was in Casa with a couple people talking to her. Zach, I mentioned. Elon talked to her too? Like briefly?
No. I think that was more so after they came back. After Casa, all of a sudden, all the guys. I think after Casa and after the stay on your business thing, all of a sudden all the boys were like, oh, Amaya's kind of hot.
Yeah. I think that at that point, I think the writing was on the wall that Amaya was a clear favorite to win the show, no matter who she was with, so she could just drag anybody along, I think. I mean, I like Brian's a nice guy. Would she have won with Zach? Probably also. I think she would have won with him too, but Brian, I think, is a little bit better for her than Zach was. But yeah, so Amaya, like I said, you know, she really had a strong connection till I think with Brian. I think that was the first person she really had a connection with because no one really chose her. And that was great for her to be chosen. Everyone wants to be chosen. Everyone wants to be picked by somebody. Like, hey, I choose you, okay? And for her to be chosen, that was a good thing for her because we all liked Amaya. She was nice. She was herself. She had a ton of energy, more than I'm like. Sometimes it's like, step back for a second. Let's reset. Let's breathe. And she was doing the zoomies, and jeez, sometimes it was like early in the morning. Mine would wake up. Islanders, wake up! I'd be like, can I just wake up for 1 second before you start?
Like she said, she was like, if she's not your cup of tea, don't drink it. I love it. I love that she knows who she is. I'm not changing myself for these loser boys. And you always find there is a lid for every pot. There's always somebody for somebody, and you never settle, and somebody's going to love you for who you are, and that's what you found in Brian. I think that they're actually like a really good fit. I like them together. I like the fact like it's just like the like littlest things. There was like the one moment in one of the episodes where I liked that he had like told her, he was like, "Come give me a kiss," and I was just so happy for her because we had watched so many other episodes where she was asking all these men, "Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss?" And they're just like, "All right." And this was now somebody who's like, "Oh, can I have a kiss?" And he loves her zoomies, and he loves the way that she acted and how like their upbringings were similar and the way they looked at things were similar. So there's always somebody for somebody. He did not want to dim her light. He wants her to shine, and I mean she's about to shine because she's about to get paid. And he said, "I'm right here for it." I think it was very clear that she was like a favorite after that challenge where they got to read like how America voted. All those like, who would you want to go on a road trip with, and blah blah. And she has kept going to the top, and that was probably for them like, oh, America really likes Amaya Papaya. I don't think that I'm not gonna sit here and say Brian is only with her for that reason, but you know. I'm sure it didn't hurt to say like, oh, just slide this way.
So Brian and Amaya were the final couple, the final four, and yeah, like I said, after that challenge where America kind of voiced their opinion, Amaya was like the clear favorite. And if you looked anywhere on social media, all these companies were like supporting Amaya. Just these verified companies on TikTok and all these social media places, it was like Amaya. And it was, like I said, like I mentioned early in the video, it was anticlimactic. So Amaya and Brian were the winners of Love Island. And it was, like I said, very anticlimactic because you went into it knowing they were going to win. You're hoping that no one else would win. You're hoping that Huda and Chris wouldn't win because Huda had her fans and Nick Landry stands were voting too. But luckily, Amaya and Brian did win. Now, the twist was, now it's not, they don't just win. They don't just win and ride off in the sunset. That's not what happens. So they do win the show. However, Ariana Madix, who is the host, Ariana Madix, who is the host, gives them, she has two envelopes in her hand. One of them contains the winning prize of $100,000. The other envelope contains zero, nothing, goose egg, nada, zip, zilch, zero. And so they both had an envelope to choose. Brian was the gentleman, said ladies first. So Amaya grabs one envelope and Brian grabs the other. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you again.
Thank you.
Amaya opens her envelope and she gets zero. Brian opens his envelope, of course he gets the $100,000. Now the twist of the game is you can either split the money with you and your partner, or you could take the money all for yourself. Now she's explained to me that this has never been done in the history of the show. No one's ever taken the money.
Oh, don't say history. I mean, I haven't watched like every single season of like the UK version. So maybe somebody has done it before on another version. But all the seasons I've seen, this has never happened.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. I didn't want anybody to come to me, but actually. Go touch grass.
Okay. So Brian had a little speech, nothing really that lengthy, and then eventually he said, "I'm gonna split the money with Amaya." So they go home each with $50,000. She explained to me also that no one would like she said, most people would not take money from themselves because they have brands to think about on social media and trying to get their brand out there. So her saying that if you took $100,000, you could kiss your social media following goodbye.
It would be career suicide in this age where we are now in a generation of people who this is my career. What do you want to be when you grow up, little Bobby? I want to be a YouTuber. Like, that's what kids aspire to be now. Kids want to be influencers. There's no way these people are building up their fan bases to basically like burn it down after a season of Love Island. That's dumb. Like, especially when that's dumb. Especially if he's with Amaya. Like, America's basically sweetheart right now. No, he would have been a villain. Instant villain. So no, that would have been dumb. Even if you're thinking it in your head, don't do it. Don't do it. Just take a little 50 that you wouldn't have gotten. The only person who probably could have gotten away with getting the envelope that had money in it and taking all of it would be Chris. Chris could have stood up there with Huda if they had won and said, I'm keeping all of this cash. And I would be like, yes, give him that and some for emotional damage.
Emotional damage. I don't want to be an influencer. I just want to play college football. My face is very bright from the sun. I'm burning. That's not how I'm going to get a tan. I'll just say it like this.
Oh my goodness.
And it's funny, with Amaya also, like the social media stuff for her, I saw a post, I don't remember who posted it, and there's a bunch of people in the comments saying, Amaya for Bachelorette. I'm like, I don't know about that, but that's how popular she was. They wanted to see her on everything.
Yeah, that's a failing. We can talk about Bachelor another day. Bachelor in Paradise is starting. But yeah, but the theme of it is this is how big she is now. The people will hopefully get to see her on other shows, and I'm sure she'll probably be on something else. Would be interesting to see her on. Oh, like a Big Brother. Oh my God, am I on Big Brother? Would be so funny.
I don't know if she'd handle that.
Every single morning, waking up. Good morning, everybody. Let's talk game.
I don't know if she'd handle that.
I'm sure it'll be interesting to see where all these people go. It's always interesting to see people watching reality shows, like which route do they take with their career. Because I mean, the easy thing to do would be find another show to go on, whether that's hope that you're big enough to make it to like a Traders, or you're gonna try to go to like Big Brother or Amazing Race or whatever else. So there's so many shows now. You don't have to just stick to your one show and that's it, especially when you blow up like this. So I'm sure that we'll see all of them on something. I'm sure we'll see Ason, So You Think You Can Dance or something. Sometimes.
I like it, but I wouldn't watch that. And Alicia explained to me also, it's like, with Amaya, I was about to say something, I lost my train of thought. With Amaya, she doesn't have an agent or anyone representing her, so I don't know. She's gonna get something now.
We don't know. Hopefully, if she doesn't already, then she's getting someone, because, unfortunately, like people were talking about, that it seems like some of these companies, you gotta be careful. Some of these companies were already trying to start to make some things and hadn't really involved her in it, of course, because she's on the island. So I'm like, you can't just start using people's names and start you're not working with her to do these things. You're already trying to develop something and capitalize off of her name and her success without involving her, which is kind of scummy. So hopefully she has hopefully she's getting some lawyers and some agents and managers on deck to protect herself. But yeah. She might have some people already. I don't know. I don't think she had anyone managing her social media, which a lot of other people usually find someone to manage social media. It's not always a great idea. I think this season was definitely not, because we saw some mess happen with a lot of people and the people they had running social media, because it's not they're picking people who are professionals. A lot of them are picking their cousin or their childhood best friend or their sister. No, if you want to have someone, just hire somebody. If you really want to do that route, silly.
So that's basically it for the finale. I do want to circle back to one thing that I thought was funny last night. People were talking about it today. So each couple had a final date. They all did certain things, whatever. And it was nice. They all dressed up and everything. Looked nice, whatever. My favorite thing probably last night was, so I don't like this happen, but it is what it is. Chris and Huda finally decided to go their separate ways, and they go onto a table that was in water. It was floating on a platform on water, where
very Bachelor.
It was maybe up to maybe ankle high. It wasn't high water. It was maybe ankle high, a little higher than ankle high. And so before the date, Chris, who's 6'5" or whatever it is, Huda's she's a short woman. And he carries her in his arms from wherever they were to the table. And eventually, they have their conversation. They don't think it's going to work. They want to go separate ways, blah, 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 blah. And then, they're leaving, and she wants him to carry her. And she's like, no way. So then he just walks off, and she's just like, Okay, so she takes her shoes off, walks. Like, you think he's gonna carry you after he broke up with you? Probably not gonna happen. You dumped him, so.
Right. And of course, her little teenage fans are online talking about he was salty afterwards. No, this lady is crazy, and he's been dealing with her craziness all season. And now you want me to carry you after you sat here. No, absolutely not. No. I don't know why he was even, because he didn't break things off. She broke things off with him. He was gonna try to make it work. Insane. I'm convinced that some people just love drama in relationships and they feed off of it, especially when the person's also attractive. And so he was just like, I'm gonna just rock with it because she's hot. Because I like my people with a little bit of psycho in them. I don't know. Because he was not blinking. He was like, okay, cool. I don't know. I had someone today tell me that they think that he was just like biding his time or hoping that they were going to win so he can get some money. And if that was true, strategy. Okay. Not mad at that, I guess. But, yeah. Like, I don't know why she thought he was going to carry her across that water again. It wasn't even high. It wasn't like it was up to her waist. It was up to like her ankles. Girl, get in the water and walk across this. She should have walked across the first time. When I first saw it, I was like, what is he doing? Yeah.
Anything else to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, the things that were missing this season that made me mad were no movie night. That was a big one. Everyone's like, why is there no movie night? They usually have a social media challenge where they get to actually see the things that we've been saying about them. I mean, last season was a little messy because they started using tweets from other seasons and tweets out of reference and stuff. So, hopefully we get like a new production team or some new employees at the company or something. I don't know. To make things a little better. I've heard they said they were going to do better with their casting next time. Yeah. I want Casa to go back to the original format. Where am I I want postcards from Casa. I want a classic Casa experience, and I don't feel like it was that. I want the day after Casa, the return, to go back to the original format. This, having 20 people inside of a house because everybody has to come back. Everyone's standing in a circle and walking up to see who they picked. I don't like that. No. I want one of the best parts is the drama of you have this person who stood up and they're all happy and waiting to see their person that they left behind, and then the person walks out and you have to wait to see if they're by themselves or with the Casa person. And that was just no. I just hated it. I hated it. And I was like, there's too many people in this house. And then we had to suffer with that for a minute until they did that one big send off where they sent home 5 or 6 people or something. Yeah, that, and then stop letting the Islanders choose who's gonna stay and go home as much. I don't mind every once in a while because they always do that where they have a few situations where, okay, all the boys gather, all the girls gather, you pick a boy, you pick a girl to stay. Cool. But it seemed like almost every vote was having that. And that's how we got to these situations that we did, where there were good people getting sent home, where Hood has stayed so long. It just wasn't fair, in my opinion. America, if you want us to vote, we're voting. And this is what we're saying. I also wish they would call out more about, where people fell, how in our voting. If somebody was last, tell them they're last. But maybe that's not the best because also these fans nowadays are a hot mess and doing too much. Again, need to touch grass because they're online threatening people and calling them names and finding people's families. It's way too out of hand. Yeah. I'm social media, man, has just gotten out of hand. People need to go get some fresh air. It's just insane. And they just, these kids would not have made it in their the old reality TV days. Could you imagine that when The Hills was on and people were just online trying to find Jason's family? Just Lauren didn't go to Paris because of you. First, it just be crazy. Like, them trying to like dox Sammy and Ronnie after one of their fights. These kids couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. So I just hate that this is what it's come to. What it's so like, it's so trivial. This will just fun. This summer should be fun in the words of Kyle from Summer House. And they're messing the vibes up. So I hope we can get the vibes back. Yeah, too many people watching now. But I mean, I'm glad that at the same time I like when new people come to things, because then I know my show won't get canceled. If less people watch, then they might take it away. But they also just start ruining things. Womp womp.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said real quick, what you people like say stuff online. After what happened to Sierra, people were calling like ICE for her family. That's too much. Like, stop.
Yeah, that's too much. I don't like. Of course, I don't agree with what she said.
No.
Even her little apology was just like whatever, with her empathy sweatshirt on and the jade necklace. I was like, ma'am, please. It was very clear she has PR people that were helping her. But yeah, I'm like, why are we calling it? So you're going to tackle racism with racism?
Yeah.
Okay.
People take it too far.
Right. That's what I saw some people saying, like, they don't even think that it was about, like, you genuinely cared about the comments that she made and addressing those. There were some people who just wanted her out of there because of the whole Nicolandria thing. And that's wild to me. Because I'm just like, that's just ignorant. You don't even care about what she actually said and how messed up it was. You care about your, like, fake couple? Get real. Get real. It's so just unbelievably fake to me. Like, get out of here with this.
Okay.
So people just do better. Do better. Do
better.
Be better.
Do better.
Real.
Be better. Absolutely. So that is gonna do it for our.
Wait. What's your favorite moment of the season?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. What's your favorite moment of the season? What was your high of the season and your low of the season?
It's just like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I'm just looking at the camera because I'm worried about the time.
Oh, well, how much time is left?
I don't know. Anyway. Favorite moment of the season, honestly, is when Ace and Shay went to the hideaway.
Eat that kitty in the hideaway.
Eat that kitty in the hideaway. It was because, like, I feel like they deserved it. I feel like that was the strongest connection in the show, and they finally got a chance to be alone with each other and just kind of, like, Ace has to be closed off exclusive, so hopefully outside the Villa they continue to grow the relationship. That's what I like, because I like them to the show. There's some bumps, obviously, there, but they're my favorite couple of the show, and then them being in the hideaway was definitely a good season, and a good moment. And then my least favorite moment, honestly, was just anytime Austin was on the screen. Because, like, it was so, like, I mean, again, he's probably a nice person in real life, but the way he came off was like, you're boring, you seem disinterested, and I don't want to see you on my television screen.
Yeah. My favorite moment of the season was probably the first episode, like the beginning of it. Just that feeling of, oh, Love Island is back. I mean, then you fast forward a few weeks and you're like, oh, just hurry up and end. It's so bad. But I just want to think back to like that first beginning, those original feelings of we're back, we are so back. That Love Island gets you when it first comes out. You can see the little dance number. What a time. Low moment. I really didn't like the moment where like Amaya's sitting there and all the guys just attacking her, because I already like don't like men to begin with, except for this one, and they're just all sitting there yelling about nothing, and I was just like, I'm about to fight them. They were just so dumb. They all sounded stupid, and they were just irritating. That, and I got tired of voting for them, these stupid Islanders, to be like, we're not going to listen to anything you guys said. We're going to do what we want. And I'm like, you know what? That's why I don't feel too bad about anybody who did get sent home or lost, because... Oh, another entertaining moment was when Charlie got sent home, and... Hannah was crying over that. It was actually entertaining, because she was crying like, oh boy got sent to war. Quite entertaining. The memes are always a fun part of the season. Memes, so until companies start getting a hold of it and it gets carried away.
Mama Seeds?
But yeah, as much as the internet gives me grief, and there's things that make the seasons more stressful with people like attacking people and things like that, I do like, just going online and see commentary, seeing people laugh, make memes, and it's nice having moments where there's so much craziness happening in this world, but we can just come together and laugh a little bit about something that should be very light. So, see you next summer, I guess.
It's always good to laugh.
Love Island Games, actually. I won't, not next summer, because in a month there's a reunion, which should be interesting. Also, they do the reunion after they've been, home for a while and things like that. And then they're doing Love Island Games. I was very shocked when they announced that, because I had no clue that they were doing a Love Island Games this year. And Andy Cohen's hosting the reunion, so that's interesting. I don't think these kids are ready for Andy Cohen. So.
Are those kids not ready for Andy? Andy not ready for them?
Oh my gosh.
That's what I meant to say.
I know.
So unless you have anything else to add, I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Until next summer, Islanders.
I enjoyed it. Will I be watching it next year? I think so. I think I'll watch it next time it comes back. Hopefully, like Alicia mentioned, the selection process is a little more strict this time because of what happened with certain things outside.
Do better work with researching people. Stop leaving it up to random people like myself to find this stuff. Just do a Google search. I don't understand.
You have resources at your fingertips. You can easily find something like that. That's it. A couple things of note for me. One, let me finish my sentence, please.
Let me finish my sentence.
Please.
I like Chris. I thought he was very patient. That girl's just a lot. She tried the patience.
And then, a lot of moments this season that were memorable. Maya Papaya, the Zoomies, Mamacita. But my favorite moment of the season, that was a moment that sticks out to me easily, was when Huda and Jeremiah were a couple. And Huda asked Jeremiah, "Are you good?" And we just got this.
So funny.
That's my favorite image of the season. Is just like no verbal expression, no yes or no, nothing verbally came out. Not even like a nod. Just
he was so tired. And in that moment, I remember being like, "Oh my God, why is he acting like this? This is so mature." Now that I know more about this girl, I'm like, I also would have hit her with the, "Please go, please."
So I give this season 2 thumbs up.
I give this season 3 inflatable beach balls out of 5.
Okay, it's 3 inflatable beach balls. So that's gonna wrap it up. Like I said, I enjoyed the season. I enjoyed it. It was my first experience. She had more, I think, fun last year. I mean. From what I've heard, last season was
fire.
Classic and just really well done. This season, I liked it, but it had some holes in it. I could see from her experience and just what it's supposed to be, what I was told. So, like I said, I enjoyed it as a whole, but I'm looking forward to more things coming out TV-wise, movie-wise, wedding-wise. We're still planning our wedding. It's coming in November. We'll probably make a video on that at some point. How things are going.
Wedding planning
because it's about 3 months plus away. It's definitely exciting, but it's also very nervous. Like I said, we'll talk about our experiences dating, engaged, getting married in our own time because it's definitely crazy, especially for me. I never thought I'd meet somebody, let alone somebody this great. So we'll definitely have a video about that at some point. So thank you for watching. We've seen a lot of the views on some videos have been great. The Survivor video did really well. Hopefully this one does well as well. Like the video if you enjoyed. If you enjoyed Love Island, leave a like, leave a comment. Who did you want to win? What was your favorite moment? What was your least favorite moment? Definitely leave us a comment down below and let us know. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Lots of stuff coming up. Like I said, the wedding videos. We're going to do some vlogs at some point. We're going to go to Disney and the honeymoon. That's going to come up. Just stay tuned to this channel. There's going to be a lot more content coming. So just stick around. Busy stuff going on, work, planning a wedding, but we will upload videos for sure on this channel. That's what we want to do. That's what we're going to do. So if you don't like it, tough. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. I'm watching Big Brother now. So that's what I've moved on to.
It's time for Big Brother.
Big Brother. This season is wild. These people are nutso.
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 They're a can of planters.
They're a can of planters.
All right. Last thing I'll say before we close is that when you do videos or vlogs or whatever your content on the internet, the biggest thing I think that you have to take from it is that you're enjoying what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing with us if it's a code channel. And there is no one on this planet or any other that, if that isn't discovered yet, that I'd rather do content with than this person sitting right here.
Ah. Ditto. Ditto.
So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.